All right, we do want to thank our sponsor for the show, Anchor. It's the easiest way for us to bring you the podcast. They give us everything we need, it's all in one place, and most importantly, it's all free. Everything on our iPhones, on our iPads, on our computers, all the creation tools to edit, it's all included, and they distribute the show for us. Send it to Spotify, send it to Apple, send it to Google. So you can start your own podcast, get in on the game, download the Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for joining another episode of Anchors Away. I am Robert Burns, former TV news anchor and reporter, now having some fun with the news. Remember, you can subscribe for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen if you haven't already done so. I've also started posting these episodes on my YouTube channel, so you can go on there, watch it in the background of whatever you're doing. This week's a little different. Obviously, the past couple of weeks have been such a shit show in the world for everybody, really. I wanted to take some time and share a fun story from even before I was in the news and probably one of the first times I was in front of the camera, and this is how and when I snuck in to Shaquille O'Neal's 35th birthday party in Miami while he was an active member of the Miami Heat, and I was still in college at the time when this happened. I remember this was, if I look back at the video itself, I want to say this is the year 2007. And so his birthday's in March. Give you a time frame of when this happened. But he was playing for the Miami Heat at the time, who are, at the time of recording this show, in the NBA Finals, which is what makes this kind of timely. And so it was his 35th birthday party coming up at the Hard Rock Hotel. This is a big hotel they have in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Hollywood, Florida, to be exact. And at the time, the hotel was still very new. They had a dome in the background, or a little concert hall area. And so that was where they would have a lot of their events. Well, I was in college. Obviously, I was growing up watching the Miami Heat, and I was a fan of the team. I was just a kid. I was a fan, 20-something years old. And so I was studying at the time at Lynn University. I was studying journalism. And so as part of that, this is getting towards the end of my college career, you have to start making a reel of some of your on-camera work. You have to start putting clips together and make a highlight reel, essentially is what it is. Well, to do that, I was trying to figure out what in the heck I was going to do and how it was going to pull it without having my internship to make this reel. And so I forget how it came about. Someone told me that there was Shaq's birthday party. Let me preface this with, at the time also, I was interning with some radio stations, and I was in buddy-buddy with a lot of the employees at the hotel who would let me know what was going on. And, you know, they'd take care of my valet. They'd help me get a couple of free drinks, or at least in the clubs. For a 20-something-year-old kid, that's really what mattered at the time, was just getting in, getting past the bouncer, and feeling like a hotshot, which is what I was trying to do. And so I remember I somehow got wind that Shaq was having his birthday party at the arena area of the hotel out in the back. And so I applied for a media credential to cover this event. I was calling myself the VIP Insider. As I've mentioned on this show before, I thought I was hot stuff. I thought I was a hot shot back in the day. I wasn't. All right, I really wasn't. I thought I was something, not a big deal. And so somehow, I don't know who went along and approved it, and they gave a 22-year-old college kid a media credential to cover the birthday party at the hotel. You know who that person was? A friend of mine who worked for media at the hotel at the time. And so I had my credential. I had one extra credential. I grabbed a buddy of mine, a photographer, videographer buddy of mine in college at the time. His name was Ian, I remember. We have a couple of pictures together, but I grabbed Ian and we said, hey, let's go out there. Let's shoot a video. I'll use it. You use it. We'll do all types of stuff out there, and they'll have a red carpet from what I understand, and we'll just pull people aside and we'll just have a fun time and put together a pretty good video. And I wore this god-awful see-through blue shirt underneath a white sport coat a pair of jeans and a big belt buckle. I don't know who I was trying to impress or what they would have thought of me at the time, but that was the outfit that I decided to wear on air in this 2-3 minute story that I ended up putting together. So we go out to Shaq's birthday party, and all the while I'm trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get Shaq's attention? Who's going to be there? Who else is going to be there? And how do I get the birthday boy's attention when we finally do? Because mainly at the time, Shaq was and still is one of my favorite NBA basketball players of all time. Had his sneakers, followed him in Orlando. I thought it was one of the greater NBA players ever. And so I was finally meeting one of my idols. But how do I make sure I pull him aside? And I had to be really aggressive. And that was probably one of the first times I had learned how to be aggressive when you're working in the news. You got to pull people aside, and you got to get interviews all over the place. And you got to be able to booze, schmooze, and cruise, really. And so we go there, and it's time. You know, the red carpet's open. We're out there with all the other local TV stations that are out there, and the team videographers and the team social media people and everybody out there on the red carpet pulling people aside. And one of the first people I see is DJ Irie, who is still, to this day, the official DJ of the Miami Heat. I think he was one of the first DJs for an NBA team. So when you go to a Miami Heat game, there's an actual DJ booth. He's sitting there and he's spinning records and he's hyping up the crowd. And he's the hype man. And that's DJ Irie. And I've met him once or twice before at some other events that I schmoozed my way into while trying to become a college member of the media. And so I was talking to him, and he was one of my first interviews. And he was kind of pointing out and telling me who else was going to show up. Second person on my radar was Gary Payton. Now, if you follow the NBA, Gary Payton is one of the Hall of Famers in NBA basketball. Played for the Seattle Supersonics for a very long time. Went and played for the LA Lakers for about a half hour, and then came to the Miami Heat. And so came down to the Miami Heat, and Gary Payton is this legendary basketball player, and he comes walking down the red carpet. And so I grab him as well, and I'm like, Gary, get over here. And so we started talking to Gary Payton. I got my interview, and now I've got my adrenaline pumping. Now I'm ready to roll, and now I feel like I am invincible, like I belong at this party. These are my people. This is who I need to be hanging out with. The glitz, the glamour, the money, the drinks, the women. This was it. Next, I see the person following down Gary Payton along the red carpet. If you listen to any music in the early to mid 2000s, Ludacris was walking down the red carpet. Ludacris came down. I grabbed Ludacris and I said, Luda, like I knew him. You know, like we went back to days of, fried chicken and beer, And so I sit there and I start interviewing Ludacris. And holy majoli, I felt like I was running on Entertainment Tonight. I was grabbing those interviews. And so I've got Ludacris. I've got Hall of Famer Gary Payton. I've got the first DJ for an NBA team walking down. And those are the guys that are going to be in my story. I'm like, I am good. I think I talked to a couple other guys. Like Michael Doliak showed up, if you follow the Miami Heat. He showed up. I talked to him. A couple other random players, some rappers I didn't even know and still don't know to this day. I have random pictures with them. If you ask me who they were, I couldn't tell you. And so I'm like, I'm good. I've got enough for the story. Let's go inside and, hopefully grab some extra shots if we can. Well, then I see Shaquille O'Neal walking down. And you can tell when Shaq was walking down that red carpet because everybody just mobbed him. He was on top of the world at that point, just won an NBA championship. They were the hottest team in the league. He's Shaq. He's 7 foot and change. And I see him walking down. You can spot him because he was wearing this tan fedora. And he's obviously 7 foot change. And he was wearing this tan fedora walking down. So you can see him from 50, 60 yards down, making his way. And it was just mobbed. And so if you remember earlier in the story, I was telling you how I was trying to figure out, before this day even happened, weeks before, I was trying to figure out how am I going to get Shaq's attention? How am I going to get this superstar to give me 2 or 3 questions to just make me look like the boss, you know? And when he walked up, I said, Shaq, and I just started asking him questions, started firing at him. And you can tell I was feeling good because I was asking the questions, and you can see the other microphones from the other TV stations start to climb over so they can get a piece of some of the questions I was asking them. And so I'm asking Shaq these questions, and he's answering them, and we're having fun. And it's Shaq, it's Lady, it's me, it's my camera guy. I had 2 minutes with him, and it was probably the greatest 2 minutes of my life. Can I remember it right now? No. Fortunately, I recorded it. And so you can tell at the very end, I wanted to not only show my appreciation to the guy, but also have fun with him. And so as a birthday present, I spent my own money. And I kept this in my coat pocket the whole night before. It was a little square wrapped up in birthday wrap. And I had it in my pocket the whole time. And Shaq walks up, and I get my couple of questions. And I said, oh, by the way, last thing, you always want to remember where you came from. And so we want to make sure you don't forget that. And I handed him the gift that was wrapped in my pocket and probably sitting there for a couple of hours waiting for him to show up. I bought him. I spent like $11 on Amazon. I bought him the greatest hits of Shaquille O'Neal. And I said, never forget where you came from. His music was god-awful, but here's a CD for it. If you play it tonight, great. And he started laughing uncontrollably. And that was the coolest. It could have been fake. But that was the coolest thing to me at that point in my whatever kind of career you want to call it. And so I bought Shaq all-time greatest hits of his own horrible music. I had fun with him. I grabbed a picture with him. He went inside, and I figured that was going to be it. And that was it. We were good to go. I said, hey, Ian, you got all the video you got? All you need? Yeah. He goes, sure, we're good to go. I said, okay, you got everything you need here? Yeah. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Well, the red carpet was wrapping up as well at the end. Starting to slow down a little bit, and I looked around, and I said, you know what? Who's to stop us from just walking in like we own the joint? I'm high on adrenaline as it is. Let's just take that camera, put the camera aside. We got these badges, put the camera aside. You and I will just walk right through. We've already been inside since before. Before everyone showed up, we went inside, got video of the inside of the arena. And it looked fantastic. So I was like, we already been inside. I already gave the bouncer over here a head nod. The hey, how's it going type thing. Like, I've seen you before. I've parked here all the time. This is where I'm going to go. And so let's just try it. Worse, he says no, we go to the bar and we go do our own thing. So we walked right on up and walked up to the bouncer, gave him the head nod. He gave a head nod back, and I just kept on strutting in. Next thing you know, 22-year-old me is inside 35-year-old Shaquille O'Neal's birthday party. And you could not believe what it looked like inside. If you could imagine as much money as you could ever have inside of one room, that was it. There was bottles of Dom all over the place. There were chandeliers hanging. There were random women's cigarette and cigar sellers with, outrageous outfits. And it was the most amazing experience. Ludacris gets on stage and he starts rapping 4 or 5 songs. I see Shaq over in his VIP booth with Terrell Owens, NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver. I walk over there, give Shaq a high five and some dap like I've known him for 25 years. I see Terrell Owens. We take a random picture. I keep on strutting because at that point I've had a couple glasses of Dom in my system and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And so the rest of the night just kept on going that way. I didn't know what the heck happened until the next morning. I woke up and I looked at my camera because back in those days you had a physical Sony camera. I think it was a CyberShot. I had my Sony CyberShot camera and I looked at some of the pictures and I was like, all right, I guess I met this person. Oh, I guess I took another picture with Gary Payton. I guess I did this. I guess I did that. So we just walked right on in. And so I didn't realize that I had taught myself one of the cardinal rules of journalism and most things in business world, if you come to think about it, and that is that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. If I would have asked that bouncer, hey, do you mind if we get inside there to hang out for a little bit? He would have damn sure said, nope, can't come in, party's closed. But If I walked in, what are they going to do? Find me in a sea of millionaires and 200 to 300 people inside this arena and then escort me out? Probably not going to happen. Plus, if they did, what was the worst that was going to happen to me? I don't know these people anyway. So we went in and we had the time of our life. We drank our fill. We got really hammered. We got a pretty funny, as you'll listen to this story, we got a pretty funny story out of it. It looked great. It was a lot of bragging rights for me in college. And to this day, it's still one of the best parties I've ever gone to. And I am now 36 years old, 35, 36 years old, depending on the month. So yeah, I taught myself that lesson before I even had to be taught it on the job when I was in TV. So if you think about it, I guess there was something there inside that just go for it, man. So if there's something that you want to try and do, just go for it. As long as it's not illegal, go for it. Give it a shot. Worst that can happen, you get a no. It doesn't work out. Where are you? You back at the bouncer before? You can go to the bar on your own later on. It's fine. So that is how I snuck in to Shaquille O'Neal's 35th birthday party as a member of the Miami Heat and as a college kid myself to make a video. Now, I preface this video because I'm going to play this, and then we're going to end the episode. Because as you can hear my voice now, and Norma and I have talked about in very early episodes, we have developed, and we talk with now, our TV voices. Back then, I did not have a TV voice. This is going to be raw 20-something-year-old Robert standing in front of a camera thinking he's something he's not. So you can listen to it. I will post this online so you can actually watch it and be nostalgic. And I'll post it on my Facebook that you can always find me at Robert Burns TV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also go on my YouTube channel now. Some of these episodes are on there, and you can likely watch it or listen to it on there as well. So with that being said, thanks for listening to this bonus episode of Anchors Away. Enjoy 20-something-year-old, one of the first stories I've ever done. And you can listen to me try and contain as much childhood excitement as I can as I interview Shaquille O'Neal. Thanks for listening. I will be back for another episode next week. I appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your time.
Hey, this is Gary Payton. You're inside the VIP. Yeah, baby, it's your boy DJ Ari, the world champion, and you're inside the VIP. Peace.
VIP Insider here at Shaquille O'Neal's 35th birthday party right here on this sexy red carpet where so many celebrities are going to be coming down here in South Florida at the Seminole Hard Rock Live here in Hollywood, Florida. And I'm going to get you everything you need to know, even inside this party, which nobody else can go. Nobody but you and me. So let's do it.
Happy birthday, Shaq!
Hundreds of fans lined up outside, but with over $1 million in decorations, it was inside the party that everyone wanted to see.
Behind me, Shaq's very own VIP section. You can't pay to get into a section like this. It only proves tonight, it's not what you know, it's who you know. How cool is it to open up for this guy?
As big as it gets, you know what I mean? I gotta be here a little bit early, as you can see, but you know what? I'm not mad at that.
The red carpet was rolled out, but before the birthday boy could show up, the celebrity guests started to fill in.
Like every year, Shaq definitely has the biggest birthday party ever. Last year we did at this exclusive mansion. It was a Scarface theme, so we're all Scarfaced out. This year it's all about the big blowout. It's the 35th. It's gonna be the biggest blowout ever. Truthfully, it's like another world, to be honest with you, man. You go in there, man, you think it's like, a full all-out Vegas production or something like that,
Everything he does is big, so you can only expect the best inside. But what do you get a superstar who has everything?
Gave him $35 in ones.
Man, what are you going to do for his birthday?
We're going to perform a couple songs for him. We go way back. Very proud of him. Just wanted to get loose, unwind, have some drinks, celebrate, man. He has a lot to be thankful for, so there you have it.
The Diesel showed up in style and a fedora to what would be his third birthday party of the month.
How's it feel to be 35?
It feels pretty good. I've been around 35 years on Earth, been in the NBA 15 years, and I'm a lucky guy. During the month of March, every day is my birthday, but March 6th is really my birthday. But
it doesn't matter if he's had 3 because none of them count until it's the one that I give him.
Oh, so he hasn't gotten it yet?
Right.
Oh, okay, so you could have a huge cupcake just waiting for you inside.
Yes, exactly.
You always want to remember where you came from, so we got you a little something, the best of Shaquille O'Neal.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shaq. Can I get a picture real quick?
After blowing out the candles and a private performance by Ludacris, Shaq and his 1,500 guests shook their moneymakers throughout the night. Also showing up, names like Star Jones, Terrell Owens, and of course, his teammates. From Hollywood, Florida, I'm Robert Burns.